It's me again, Miss Aisha. Today we're going to talk about comparative and superlative adjectives. At the end of this video, you should be able to understand and use both comparative and superlative adjectives. Now we all know that an adjective is a word that describes a noun or a pronoun. It can make your writing extremely interesting because it gives you so much more information about your noun or your pronoun. It gives us more information about a person, a place, an animal, or a thing. What is a comparative adjective? If you look at the name comparative, it comes from the word to compare. When I use a comparative adjective, it means that I am comparing between two nouns, and I usually add the suffix er to the word. If my adjective is one syllable and does not end in a y, like the example you can see, bright, it's one syllable, I add er to create a comparative adjective. If you look at the example, it says, Sam's torch is brighter than John's torch. Here we are comparing between two nouns, Sam's torch and John's torch. Sometimes the root adjective spelling does not change. Like the example we just saw, bright becomes brighter. Warm becomes warmer. The weather is warmer today than yesterday. Sometimes the root adjective spelling must change. This is the case when I have an adjective that ends in a y. Before I add the er, I must change the y into an I and then add er, as in the example in front of you. The boy is happier than the girl. If you can see, the y is no longer a y, it's changed into an I. The other case where I have to change my spelling is if I have a CVC word, a one-syllable word that ends in consonant, vowel, consonant, like in the example in front of you. Big, before I add the er, I must double the G, or else I will change the sound. It will no longer be bigger, it will be bigger. So to keep the sound of the word the same, I must double the G before I add er. My car is bigger than yours. Now, if we want to compare one noun to all the other nouns in the same group, we use a superlative adjective, and we usually add the suffix est. For example, the adjective here is smart. If I add est, it becomes smartest. And if I write smartest in a sentence, it would look something like this. Layla is the smartest one in our class. Here I'm comparing Layla to all the other students in her class. Again, sometimes the root adjective spelling does not change. Like in the example in front of you, quick becomes quickest. The girl is the quickest of them all. But if I have an adjective that ends in a Y, what do I have to do? I must remove the Y, add an I before I add est. The orange is the juiciest of the fruits. Again, if I have a word that is one syllable and ends in CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant, I must double the last letter before I add est. Leeds was the hottest city on Wednesday. Now, if an adjective is more than one syllable and doesn't end in a Y, what do? We cannot add ER and EST. That would sound ridiculous. Have you ever heard beautifuler and beautifulest? Or amazinger and amazingest? No, that is ridiculous. So what do? We add the word more to make a comparative adjective. That flower is more beautiful than that flower. That painting is more amazing than that one. We add most to make a superlative adjective. That is the most beautiful flower I've ever seen. That is the most amazing picture I've ever seen. If you have a look at this table, you will see one-syllable adjectives, two or more syllable adjectives, and irregular adjectives. One-syllable adjectives, we just add ER. Unless it's a CVC word, we double the last letter. If it's two or more syllables, we do not add ER, we add more or most. Unless it's more than one syllable and ends in a Y, we cross out the Y and add IER or IEST. Now, irregular adjectives are words such as many, good, bad, and little. The comparative adjective of many is more, and the superlative is most. The comparative of good is better, the superlative is best. The comparative adjective of bad is worse, and the superlative is worst. The comparative adjective of little is less, and the superlative is least. I hope you enjoyed learning about comparative and superlative adjectives. I'll see you next time on our next video. Stay home, stay safe, work hard. Bye!